Lights out and away we go for the Bahrain Grand Prix. As the Williams overtakes Sergio Perez, and Sergio Perez overtakes the Williams and gets a good dive into the inside of turn 1. He makes contact with the McLaren. More contact with the McLaren. Into turn 3 nicely there. Catching up with the Red Bull of Daniel Ricciardo. No, that's Max Verstappen. Will he make a dive down the inside of Max Verstappen and the 2 Mercedes cars? Will he get the move done on this lap? And Sergio Perez attempts to manoeuvre over Max Verstappen, but it does not work out. And it's worked out this time round. He's overtaken Max Verstappen and in contact with Valtteri Bottas, and he overtakes the 2 Mercedes cars in one go on lap 1 of 14 of this Bahrain Grand Prix. Next up, Kimi Raikkonen, then Sebastian Vettel, then the race leader Daniel Ricciardo. Will he overtake Kimi Raikkonen on this lap? Back to Sergio Perez. On to lap 2 of this Grand Prix. And there's a manoeuvre onto Kimi Raikkonen and it is done. Kimi Raikkonen has been overtaken by Sergio Perez. Perez into 3rd place of this Grand Prix. Next is Sebastian Vettel is his next target on this race. Will he make the move on this lap or in this sector? Bit wide there, trying to overtake Sebastian Vettel. And a bit wide there again, and will he get the move done? No, he won't get the move done. He almost gets overtaken by Kimi Raikkonen there. Will he get the move done into this corner? Looks like there's a dive down the inside of Sebastian Vettel. No, he doesn't work. Looks like there's a dive down the inside of Sebastian. No. On board with Daniel Ricciardo. Back to Sebastian Vettel. And it looks like Sergio Perez will overtake Sebastian Vettel towards the start of the 3rd lap. And possibly Daniel Ricciardo at the same time. And he makes the move down to the inside of turn 1 on Sebastian Vettel. Will he get the move on to Daniel Ricciardo in this lap when he has DRS in? DRS will be activated when he's onto the DRS straight, which is the old start-finish straight for this Grand Prix circuit. He's trying to take a dive down the inside of Daniel Ricciardo, but it does not work. Will he get the move down there on this side? Yes, he made the move on the DRS. He's into P1 of the Grand Prix. That is the first time Force India has ever been in P1 of a Grand Prix, on board with Charles Leclerc in last place, when he's got DRS open on Marcus Ericsson, and Marcus Ericsson's got DRS open as well. Back on board with the race leader. Force India are having their best race ever. Looking like they'll win this race and get the maximum 25 points from the Bahrain Grand Prix weekend. Onto lap number 4, almost into the pit window. Daniel Ricciardo is attempting to make a move down the inside of Sergio Perez, but he's not stick. On board with the back marker car markers. Ericsson. No, that was Charles Leclerc actually. Charles Leclerc is in last place. Marcus Ericsson is in 19th. Back on board with the race leader, who is having a great race this weekend. And looking like to pick up the 425 points if the race stays like this. Coming down towards the all-start finish straight, where there's always a good bit of action between the midfield cars and the back markers. Will anyone try to overtake Sergio Perez? A bit wide there, needs a bit of contact. With that contact with Daniel Ricciardo. Running nicely around the corner there. There's a big battle between Ricciardo and Kimi Räikkönen. That was a bit of contact there. Back to the back marker cars, not much happening there. But Marcus Ericsson is in last place. Back onto the race leader. Bit wide there. Nice onboard shot of the side pod of the Force India car. And now we are going on to lap number 5 of the 14th race Grand Prix. Big battle. Red Bull of Ricciardo and the 2 Ferrari cars, and Red Bull get back on board the leader. Back on with Kimi Räikkönen as the battle goes on between the 2 Ferrari drivers. And there's a bit of contact there, contact between the 2 Ferrari drivers. Bit more contact there, a bit. Nice on board shot of the back of Sebastian car, and he has got DRS on Daniel Ricciardo. Will he make the move in the next couple of corners? I don't think he will. Back on board with the race leader Sergio Perez. Back to the second place driver Ricciardo. There's a bit of a manoeuvre between Sebastian Vettel and Daniel Ricciardo. Will they switch? No, they won't switch. On to lap number 6. And there looks like to be a bit of a switch between Sebastian Vettel and Daniel Ricciardo. Vettel has got the manoeuvre on Ricciardo. Looking like Ricciardo might be having a few problems in this Grand Prix. On board with the Sauber of Ericsson. There's a big battle between the 2 Williams and the 2 Sauber cars. And Hartley is in the pits. A very early pit stop from Brendan Hartley. Back on board with the race leader, who's on top form today in this Grand Prix. Running a little bit wide there, but there's no one to challenge him just yet because they're a couple of seconds behind. So into the next couple of corners. Hartley is in last place, but that's no one pictured yet, so there's still more pit stops to go, so Hartley can get back into this Grand Prix. This is Sergio Perez on this top race ever for Force India. Will he win? Let's find out of the pit stops in the next couple of laps. Into the last few corners of lap 6, going on towards the start of lap 7, and Perez is into the pits. Perez is into the pits for an early pit stop on lap 7. with a few other drivers. That was a nice clean pit stop from there. Red Bull pit stop. A bit delayed exit. On board was Fernando Alonso's pit stop. What would McLaren do for this pit stop? That was a nice clean pit stop from McLaren. On board with the Williams pit stop. That was a nice clean pit stop. But Lance Stroll is in last place currently. Last place for Lance Stroll. We're Kimi Räikkönen now into the old start-finish straight. Kimi Räikkönen is the new race leader of this race currently. Valtteri Bottas is in second place. And Max Verstappen is in third place. Sergio Perez is in 8th place of the Grand Prix. But no, I've made their pit stop yet. Everyone in front, I've still got to make a pit stop. So he is the virtual race leader of this Grand Prix. There could still be a big upset from the Grand Prix, like another driver could have a retirement towards the end of the Grand Prix, and that could shake the whole thing up on its head. This Grand Prix is still undecided. It's a hard one to decide so far. On board with Lewis Hamilton. Lewis Hamilton is having a great Grand Prix weekend this weekend. Williams in pit stop. What's that smoke I saw from Hamilton? Hamilton is out of the race. We just got confirmation of Hamilton is out of the race after that engine failure we just saw a minute ago. Hamilton is not having a great weekend this weekend. There's a battle between Bottas and Ricciardo. I think our race leader is Sergio Perez after that pit stop round. Yes, our new race leader is Sergio Perez with a big gap of over 10 seconds to the second place car. So this race looks like it is going to be won by Force India this weekend, unless they have an engine failure and anyone can catch them up. And that's running wide for Force India. If they're doing that too many times, the second place car will beat them, which that is Sebastian Vettel in second place. Back on board with the race leader, crossing the line for lap number 9. Back on board with the back marker car. Lap 9. Back on board the race leader. He's on for a 15-second lead now. He's getting a bigger lead over the second place driver Sebastian Vettel, who is only just starting this old start-finish straight of this Grand Prix. Valtteri Bottas, who is having a great race after his teammate has retired in the last couple of laps. I don't think this race could be won by anyone else other than Sergio Perez, because they've basically got the lead that wraps up the whole entire race. And that's going over across the line for lap number 10. Lap 10 of the Grand Prix is going to be started by Sergio Perez. Just waiting for the lap time to clock over to lap 10. That is the second place driver. And we are on board with some cars. Brendan Hartley having a battle with Lance Stroll in the Williams. And they will start across the line and start lap 10 in a... Yeah, lap 10 is now started. Back on board with Sergio Perez down at that back straight. Having a great race. The Force India team are looking like they're going to pick up the full 25 points this weekend, and that will help them out a lot in the championship this year. Sergio Perez coming around the last corner to start lap number 11 of 14. It's definitely going to look like Sergio Perez will win this race. Back on to the side pod of Sergio Perez's car. And lap 11 will be started by Sergio Perez, and that is lap 11. A bit wide there. Back on board with Lance Stroll after Brendan Hartley has overtaken him. Lance Stroll is the last place driver. Then it is Brendan Hartley in 18th. Then it is the other Williams of Sergei Sorokin in 18th. In the lead, it is Sergio Perez with an aerial shot of Sebastian Vettel's car. And you can see that's the distance between Vettel and Perez. It's quite a big distance, about 10 seconds now. Great on board, great aerial shot. Now looking toward the back. On board with Sergio Perez's car. Go around the sweeping hairpin, running wide there, quite badly. On board the last place car, Lance Stroll looking like to be having one of Williams. To the front of the grid, we are back on board, just back to the race leader. The race leader coming across the line to start lap number 12 of 14. Lap 12 we have started now. The back marker cars will take about another 30 seconds to start lap 12. Because they are down at the back straight. Unless Sergio Perez has an engine failure this weekend, he will win the race and pick up the full 25 points for Force India. This race could still have some upsets in it, like another car could have a retirement in it. We've still got 2 laps to go. Looking at Ricciardo's car. He's having a great weekend this weekend, apart from the fact he got pole position and now he's in 3rd place. Maybe he might have a failure of some sort. We'll have to find out. Only time will tell. With Max Verstappen. Come around to the back straight of the Bahrain Grand Prix, on board with Ricciardo. Is that Ricciardo going slow down there? Is it going slow? And that's Verstappen catching Ricciardo. It looks like Ricciardo's race might be over. He might be retiring from the Bahrain Grand Prix with an engine failure of some sort. We need to get the confirmation. And Ricciardo has retired from the Bahrain Grand Prix with an engine failure. That's not good for Red Bull after they had a great pole position in the qualifying, lap 13. So the two drivers that have retired so far are Hamilton and Ricciardo. This man here looks like to have a great weekend. The best weekend in Force India's history. So this will give the team a great boost in confidence for the rest of the season, having the race win in Bahrain. Lance Stroll has overtaken Brendan Hartley, so Hartley is the last place car. Some nice onboard shots with, that's a nice shot there of the Williams car of Sergei Sorokin. Back on board with the race leader as he makes his way down the back straight towards the swooping hairpins of the hill climb of the hill towards the back, towards the main straight finish line. On board with Sebastian Vettel as he makes his way to the start-finish line of the Grand Prix. And that's the race leader there, going around the last couple of corners to start the final lap of this race. On to lap 14 we go with Sergio Perez, and he will definitely win this race. With Sebastian Vettel as he starts his lap number 14. Valtteri Bottas starts lap 14. The final lap of the race. In the next couple of minutes we'll get the confirmation of the driver of the day. And that is the back market car of Stroll, and Sergio Perez has won driver of the day. That is driver of the day gone to Sergio Perez in this Grand Prix after his P13 to the race win. Not many drivers have done that in the past of history of Formula 1. Now on board the last couple of laps, couple of corners with Sergio Perez coming out for his best ever finish in Formula 1. Before this, his best ever finish was third on the podium in not for a couple of seasons, so Italy, I think 2017. And towards the last couple of laps, and Sergio Perez will win the Bahrain Grand Prix for the first ever time in Force India's history. He has won the race.
Great drive, we did it, good job. Brilliant stuff from Force India today. What a superb victory. Anthony, what do you think made the difference here?
I think we'll chalk this one up to a deft touch on the brake pedal. That's allowed them to challenge down the inside into the braking zones, and ultimately, if you do that often enough, you end up winning the race. It was great to watch as well though, wasn't it? Forget strategy, forget tyre management. Who doesn't love a good old-fashioned scrap?
I can see them on their way out to the podium now. Force India have really come a long, long way in this sport. And what a special race this was to see them earn that top spot. And now I'd like to ask you, Anthony Davidson, who was your driver of the day?
Let's give it to Sergio Perez. That was a commanding performance today. Very impressive indeed.
That's it for today's Grand Prix, and from Ant and I, it's goodbye and see you again next time.